It feels like an intensification of differentiating between you and me, us and them going on here. And I personally have experienced this where people will just reel off all the ways that you have wronged them. That's, I would say, the negative aspect of this energy wave here. The feeling of needing to exert your aggression, kind of like putting on a show of force for the rest of the group to maintain your stance of power. Pointing out who the potential enemies are by citing all the ways they've wronged the group, and it's so that one person can maintain power. That's how I have experienced it. Leave a comment if you have. Hello, welcome back as we continue taking a look at the universal symbolism of the day through the lens of the Sabian symbols of astrology. They are the mini story encapsulated in one degree, day by day. It gives you more information about, the energy of the day, the vibe. And if these are, say, your sun sign with the day you were born, it can give you a depth of information that could be helpful. One thing I want to say before I get any further into this is that I really appreciate each and every one of you. I wanted to get this information out is because there's not a lot of it out there. And I would love to hear your opinion of the symbols, of the stones, how they interrelate with each other, what your initial thoughts are. If you have a strong hit on any of these, I really encourage you to leave a comment. We all can learn from it. There's not enough info out there, and we need as many opinions as possible on these subjects so that it can grow. So, without further ado, let's begin. We're on Taurus Scorpio 24. We're going to start with Taurus today. The symbols for 24 Taurus. An Indian warrior riding fiercely with human scalps hanging at his belt. A man cataloging thousands of different types of microbes. A man with no mouth. A shaman's bag full of objects to be used for healing. On the summer solstice, at sunrise, a seer observes an important omen. The stone for Taurus is red jasper. It intensifies a sense of well-being. It is a stone of protection, believed to create and help balance aggressive dynamic energy. So it's an energy and stamina booster. It attracts prosperity. It helps release guilt and shame around sexual expression, and it is said to bring the inner strength of a warrior. This symbol is saying a few things here. Again, there is a lot of aggression. We're talking about an Indian warrior riding fiercely with scalps. So he's counting the deeds that he has done and wrongs that other people are doing. So I personally have experienced the negative aspect of this, so I don't like to dwell on it, but you guys need to be aware of it. Where if you stand up and say, I'm an individual, I'm going to be different, in a group setting, whether it be family, work, church, any type of group, if you're not with the team, you're outside the team, and it may be pointed out to you today. So the negative aspect is reeling off all the ways somebody has done you wrong. So that's going on, so be aware of it. And the other thing that is available here, the positive aspect of it, is that you can read a situation like Sherlock Holmes. So a deep need to understand your situation and your place in the world, and so therefore a dissecting of situations and possibly cataloging it, maybe in a journal. Differences rearing their head, okay? A certain need to claim power by reeling off how somebody else is different, how somebody doesn't fit in the group, how somebody has done certain things for the group to prove their value to the group. This is a very deep degree. I think it's saying a lot of things. So on another way to look at this is the shaman's bag full of many objects used for healing. So on the one hand, we've got a warrior collecting scalps. On the other hand, we've got a shaman collecting objects to be used for healing, like, healing stones, palm stones, things that can be used and pulled at will for the use of improving situations. So this is, as with any degree, as with any energy vibe, there's a positive way to use it and a negative way, and you need to be aware of both. So a deep ability to be able to pull from your bag because you notice everything, that when you need to heal something, you can quickly say, oh yeah, aloe vera is good for that particular ailment. Seers observing omens, noticing omens, so always noticing omens. And the man with no mouth, that is interesting. There's a deep form of needing to be independent. So this is a person who's looked within, noticed the outside world, and now they're able to operate at a much higher level because they're done talking. They're acting, they're moving, they're doing what needs to be done. They have their shaman's bag. When they need something, they reach in and they grab it. Otherwise, they're busy moving ahead on their journey. Let's take a look at Scorpio. Symbols for 24 Scorpio. Crowds coming down the mountain to listen to one inspired man. After having heard an inspired individual deliver his Sermon on the Mount, crowds are returning home. Visitors to a cave of a holy man. Coca bushes wild in the Andes mountains. Gold turning back into lead. Healers returning to a place where they may recharge their energy. The stone for Scorpio is nickel meteorite. It is a stone of transformation. It may overwhelm some with its power, but it does offer grounding from the heavy metals with the iron and nickel in it. It helps develop patience, excellent to assist in seeing a project through to the end. It speaks to the third eye and the crown chakra. It balances, it gives strength. Nickel purifies blood. It is, quote unquote, not of this world, and it helps prevent wallowing in difficulties. So a couple things going on here. The primary thing is people going to listen to inspired information, and then what do you do with it? Are you just going once a week or once a day and listening to inspired talk, and then you just kind of go on about, you think about it for a few minutes and then you go on with your day? Or are you trying to incorporate it in your everyday world so that you can take it higher and maintain a higher state of being? That is the challenge that is thrown down for this particular degree, is saying try to incorporate it, try to synthesize it into your everyday life so that you can become the guru that you're going to listen to. So it's taking the information that we learn that is of a spiritual bent and then using it. Like church always being in session. And I'm using that phrase, you believe what you believe, but it's just to get a point across. The other thing is relying on gurus to tell you what to think and what is right and what is wrong. And ultimately, we are the only ones that can decide that. Each of us, we have to decide. So if you're a part of a group, a religion, you may not agree with everything that the group has to say. So it's taking time to take in the information that you hear. Do I believe in this? Do I not? And if I do, let me try to incorporate it into my everyday life so that I can gain something more from it. Otherwise, if you're just collecting information, it can get to a point of overload, and that happened to me once. I had somebody do a chakra cleansing on me, and she said that my third eye chakra was like blocked. And I said, well, what causes that? I forget how she worded it, but like, if you're learning how to do something all the time, but yet you're not actually putting it into play, that can give you overload in any area of life. So let's say you like to watch woodworking programs, but then you never go out and use your woodworking tools. You can become blocked in that area. So when you learn something, put it into play. If you have something that you felt really strongly about obtaining, like a sewing machine or a wood lathe or a guitar, actually play it. Actually make a bowl, actually, make something with your sewing machine. Otherwise, you can overload that one area of your body, your subtle body, and it becomes blocked. So it's recharging your batteries by actually putting into play the things that you found interesting enough to tune into, whether it be of a spiritual bent or whatever, and then put it into practice. And the final thing is, be persistent and patient with yourself. If you fail something, you keep trying it over and over again until you get it. Don't be hard on yourself like me. When I first started sewing, I started with really small projects, and it was like, it didn't matter what I did wrong. I mean, the fact that I actually learned how to thread my machine was cause for celebration at first, and then you build on that. And my quilting is different from everybody else's, whatever, that's my style. And so, but keep pushing and keep learning. And so that's part of what this degree is asking us to do, is keep incorporating what you learn. So that's what I have for you today. I thank you very much for liking, commenting, and subscribing, and take care till next time.